Hello, welcome to the Tea Party Hardy channel. Well, let's file this under the category of, yeah, because we didn't already know that. Come on. Facebook content moderator. If someone's wearing a MAGA hat, I'm going to delete them for terrorism. Project Veritas has been nice enough to get out there and find out what's going on again. With the help of company insider, Project Veritas appears to have captured members of Facebook's content moderation team saying that they happily delete pro-Trump political content because it's very progressive company who's very anti-MAGA. Gotta get the Cheeto out of office, one said. You know what's interesting about that? I'm going to say this. Imagine someone saying anything related to the flesh tone of the prior president, like so many people do of the current president by calling him Cheeto and other derogatory names. And I want you to contemplate this. Of course you have to imagine it, because it did not happen. Time and time again, when you compare the way one side is treated to the other, you're forced to say, imagine if our side did this, imagine if their side did that, imagine. Because in the real world, no. In the real world, one doesn't have to imagine. They can see it. Gotta get the Cheeto out of office. You don't have to imagine them being derogatory towards the flesh tone. You know, racist. You don't have to imagine it. They actually do it. It's only when you flip it 180 that you have to use the word imagine. Because it doesn't happen. And yet, they run around thinking they're the good guys when they're racist. Well, as long as the other side continues the words, well, imagine if, it's like, don't say imagine if. Look at the concrete world. They're flat out being racist and making fun of his skin color and his race. Another content moderator, Laura Contacos, ooh, tacos, yum, was asked what she did when she saw a post supporting the president. If someone's wearing a MAGA hat, I'm gonna delete them for terrorism. And she has justification, as you'll see. Then, Kantakis looked around at her colleagues and said, I think we're all doing that. Zach McElroy, the insider, said more than 75% of the posts flagged for moderator review supported President Trump and conservative causes, and said he would be willing to testify that Facebook is not telling the truth about its political bias. It's sad that Congress is the only group of people that aren't aware of it. It's really sad. The rest of the planet has pretty much figured it out. But those people that we pay way too much money to do, way too little to aid this country, yeah, they seem to be completely absent of the knowledge. McElroy's story raises serious doubts about the Capitol Hill testimony of Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who gave lawmakers the impression that his company only takes content that could cause harm, such as relating to terrorism or hate speech, but never for politics, said James O'Keefe, the Project Veritas founder. The problem with that idea right there is that content, get the impression that the company only takes content that could harm, such as relating to terrorism or hate speech, but never politics. Now, I know we're quoting O'Keefe here, but if O'Keefe is quoting Zuckerberg, then we're in big trouble. O'Keefe shouldn't have said it either, because how is it that you can have terrorism or hate speech void of politics? How can you have terrorism or hate speech without politics being applied to determine what is the hate speech and why is that terror? Some people like to say, and they're incorrect in their assumption because they're leaving out too much data, the difference between a terrorist and a patriot. No, there's definitely a difference between a terrorist and a patriot. And the idea that that suggestion is allowed to flourish. No, that's actually a weed in your garden. People that believe that terrorism and patriotism are the same, that is a weed in your garden. Pull that sucker. Grind it up. Turn it into the mulch and fertilizer that it needs to become, because it's not true. But anyways, yeah, if Facebook is going to be They need to be held accountable. All of the big tech need to be accountable. Get rid of section, 230, that says that they're not an editor, they're a platform. Guys, I don't know how much... It's ridiculous. We're living in a time where how much evidence do you need on all this stuff? If you think that Black Lives matter to Black lives, then why aren't they talking about that poor 3-year-old kid and all the other Black lives that have been wiped out in the last 3 weeks? If Black Lives matter to Black lives, if Black Lives matter to Black Lives Matter, then why is it only that we hear from them when they're shot by a white cop? You never, ever, ever hear of a black person being killed by a black cop and Black Lives Matter going through the roof. You never hear about all of those examples. We are living in a time where we are being beat over the head with evidence and going, yeah, I don't care. I don't feel it. They've taken down as many statues as they can and they're not done. And now they want to take Jesus statues down because, it's white supremacy. So says Sean King of Black Lives Matter advocate. And the saying goes, the only thing that evil needs is for good men to do nothing. Checkmate. We'll see you in the future.